So here we go, another episode of Governor Goombots, aka Spaghetti and Meatballs, who's about to unload all his baggage onto the federal government and, of course, President Trump, because he's still mad that Trump won't bail him out. And, well, that's what time it is. In the meantime, you listen to him whine. You remember how humble he was? The federal government is doing what they can. Remember that? When he needed ventilators? I need ventilators. I need 50 million ventilators. Right? And of course, Trump said, don't panic, Andrew. You're not going to need that many ventilators. But of course, he cried and bemoaned. The fact notwithstanding that he could have ordered ventilators, of course, never wanted to procure them in good time. Way before the virus broke, he was warned he was going to need them. But no, he was investing in solar panels to make, let's call it fuck money, which is what he's very good at. And so he wasn't worried about ventilators because he was making money on solar panels and all other kinds of dirty deals, like his marijuana procurement. He handpicked the 5 companies that could supply the New York dispensaries. I'm sure there was no kickback to Cuomo on that, right, people? I don't even want to talk about his cell phone deal with his buddy, the financier from Rockland County, whose father started a bank with Mario Cuomo, who has his hand in everything from banks to cell phones and property management, and constructed a cute little deal where him and Andrew could make a quick windfall by ramming cell phones up the posterior anatomy of the state police, which, by the way, they could never use. And once explained by the superintendent then, 2 some odd years ago, that we can't use these types of cell phones, Andrew, El Sfacim Jr., ElDUCE, said, just sign a PO, take it out of allocation, get it done. And I'm sure that Cuomo made a lot of money off that deal. I'm sure of it. I know an intermediary that made a lot of money, okay? And he wasn't a businessman. So what I heard he made was a lot of money. And whatever that guy made as a bag boy can't be anywhere near what Goombots made, along with his financier real estate magnate from Rockland County. So let's listen to Andrew and listen to him whine. And by the way, note the glee, the absolute uncontrollable joy that other states are now suffering.
That's not what these projections do. They say, given your numbers today, if you just factor out your spread and rate numbers, this is what's going to happen. So they're taking your situation today, and they're saying, by where you are today, this is what's going to happen. So when Dr. Fauci says the death rate could go up to 100,000 per day, he's saying, by the current rate of increase, it could go to 100,000 a day. That, my friends, is frightening. You look at where this country is compared to the European Union, which is the great irony. They had it first. We got it from them and didn't know it. That's the story of New York. They are now on the decline. We're on the incline. And they have done a travel ban against us. Think about how ironic that is. They had it, they sent it to us, they dealt with it, we're going up higher, and now they ban us.
What he wants to say is, it came from Italy. So all you New York Italians that love Cuomo, he's blaming your tribe. Right? That's what he's doing, number one. Number two, let me qualify what he's talking and alluding to. The European Union, roughly the same geography as the United States, give or take. Roughly the same population. What is the intrinsic difference between Europe and America? I'm going to tell you. They have borders. So all you liberals out there might want to wake up to this concept. You ain't going to Switzerland from Italy during this COVID. You're not going to Austria. You're not climbing through the Tyrol. You're not going from Austria to Germany. You're not going from Germany to France, even if you goose step. You're not going from Italy to England or from England to Norway. They shut it down. You know who else did that? Trump. And Governor Goombats and all the libs were calling him a xenophobe. A xenophobe. I wonder if they know the origin of xenophobe. I'm a Greek, I do, they don't. He was a philosopher and a politician, statesman in ancient Greece who warned the Greek people about being too generous and trusting foreigners. Then came the Persian invasions, but we still call it xenophobia. I find that amazing. In the meantime, do you get that? Borders protect people. That's why the governor of Rhode Island, who Cuomo attacked when he said, we're not letting New Yorkers come here with their coronavirus, right? And Cuomo was all over them. But he'll talk about how it came from Italy, but he won't say China, because any communist doesn't want to blame the mother of communism, which is today China.
Look at what's going on around this nation.
Yes.
And these are facts.
Facts.
It's not editorial comment. Facts.
Let's talk about the 40,000 dead old people facts.
No
you
problem.
killed them.
No virus. This is all a democratic delusion. Oh, the cases are going up. That's only because the testing is going up. Really? Then why are more people going into hospitals?
The numbers are nominal.
People don't
dimwit.
go into hospitals unless more people are getting sick.
And not many are dying. Fact. Not many are dying, Goombats.
Arizona. States that were in denial, right?
They weren't in denial.
That underestimated the virus.
They didn't underestimate the virus. There were no appreciable numbers at the time. Guys like you were screaming for everyone to kill their economy. And they said, until we have an appreciable amount of victims, we don't have to panic. You panicked and set the record on victims.
Now they're all singing a different tune. Now they're all starting to say, we better take this seriously.
Oh, is that right?
We better start wearing masks. They're going backwards on their reopening plan, which is just what we talked about happening.
Oh, did you?
You were in the room many times.
See how smart Nostradamus is? He's so smart, but nobody could figure out how come he holds the Olympic galactic record in sickness and death. He has killed more people than any 4 states have fatalities.
Said, if you reopen too fast, what's going to wind up happening is you're going to have to close. And then that's going to be the worst situation. It's going to be the worst for the economy. It's going to be worse for people. And you're going to lose more people in the meantime. That is exactly what is happening. States are now having to roll back their reopening plan. Fact.
Look at the picture he puts up of Trump. See how devious he is? I wonder how long it took him to find this picture to make Trump look ridiculous. But Trump, his one singular act, shutting travel in from China, that single act outweighs every other thing that all the inane Dr. Fauci's who told us in February it's not going to be a problem for the United States. That's Fauci. That's the guy Cuomo venerates.
The buck stops on the president's desk.
But not on yours.
That's a fact. That's what it means to be the president of the United States.
But not the governor. You just murdered 35 to 40,000 geriatrics in nursing homes. You have yet, you know what you said? Well, I had to die of something.
The buck stops on my desk. In this state, the buck stops on my desk.
Really? How come you're not in jail?
I am the governor of the state. It stops on my desk. It doesn't just stop on the president's desk.
He says it stops on his desk, right? He still hasn't acknowledged it was his fault, that he had made a mistake in putting those old people in nursing homes. You know what he did? He turned around and blamed it on the federal government.
Because he's the president. This is also the words that came out of his mouth. He was in denial of the COVID virus from day one. It's just the flu. It's going to go away. It's going to be a miracle. It's not going up. It's only the testing that is going up. He denied the reality of this situation from day one.
So when he shut down travel from China and you called him a xenophobe and a racist, right? That's why you have to say that it came from Italy and Europe. Because you can't bring yourself to admitting he was right and you were wrong. Who's in denial? You rival Cleopatra. You're so much in denial.
Reopen right away, reopen right away, liberate those states. I had all the demonstrations every day. Liberate, liberate, liberate. You're artificially keeping the economy closed. There's no reason. That came from him.
And how many people died from depression, drug and alcohol abuse, and are now losing everything they worked their whole lives for over a percentage of death less than most influenzas? In the aggregate, that's still the truth. Numbnuts, less people have died from corona than have died from most influenzas. Not all, but most. And it was guys like you saying this was going to be worse than the Spanish flu, which killed somewhere between 50 and 100 million. And it was Democrats like you under Woodrow Wilson who made it illegal for anyone to report about that flu, both in Europe and America. All the belligerents fighting in World War I were not allowed to talk about that flu. You know why it's called the Spanish flu? Because Spain, a non-belligerent, a neutral, didn't punish their media for calling it what it was, a pandemic. And because they told the truth and they reported it, they got saddled with Spanish flu. Like if you had your way, this would be the European flu because you're a dishonest liar. You couldn't tell the truth if somebody batted you over your head. You're not telling the truth because you are a son of Satan like your father. Your religion is lying and stealing. You don't know any other way, pal. Read the book of John 8:44. That's Christ talking about you.
You know what's funny in this country? Sometimes if the president speaks, people listen. Even if the president is Trump.
Oh, that's funny, huh?
Sometimes they listen.
Well, let's talk about something else. How good is the economy in New York? Evacuate us. You have driven more people out of the state than the last 10 governors. That's the truth. They are leaving in record numbers. How's the city of New York doing there, Goombats? How's the real estate doing? Not too good. It's fallen 20% in the last 30 days. Okay, occupancy is exploding and people have had it. And you're going to punish the police, right? You're going to punish the police. I wonder how that cop associate of yours who helped you with that phone deal feels about it. I'll bet he ain't happy that you're attacking the police, or at least not publicly. But you're the guy who wanted to bring 1 million Muslims to New York. Isn't that right, Andrew?
Those Republican governors listened. And a lot of Republicans listened and won't wear a mask. He's holding rallies, bringing thousands of people together in close quarters, no masks.
You mean like the mask you're wearing? How about your brother Chris in his big mansion he's building in the Hamptons, attacking a man on a bicycle who told him to his face, "You're not supposed to be out, you're supposed to be in quarantine," right? But that's your brother, and that's the Hamptons, and so that's all Jake.
What signal did that send to the American people? Couldn't be a problem. Here's the President of the United States bringing thousands of people together, no masks. Can't be a problem. If it was a problem, the President wouldn't do it.
Well, we don't need to hear any more of this svachim. I just wanted you to get an idea of this guy's recipe for disaster. Really, what this is a tirade against Trump because he's got only one way out. With a $100 billion debt staring him in the face and the city and state of New York on the verge of collapse, he's going to outdo California and Illinois. He's got one prayer, that Biden wins and Dirty Joe will bail him out with printed money. And then the people who live in all the responsible states in America will get taxed to bail out this degenerate, this Caligula, this Nero. That's what this is all about. And that's why he never attacked Trump until after Trump told him, "Andrew, we'll see what we can do for you, but I'm not promising you anything in the way of $30 to $40 billion because you're a degenerate." So this is like an angry customer from a casino who lost his house and savings, screaming and carrying on in a rant, trying to besmirch said casino because he's a loser. So let me tell you, Andrew, get used to this. You're a loser.